or rather, hi there and welcome to my channel once again. Let me take this off. As you can see, I have protection and it's not anything to do with the COVIDs. So you may already have guessed what this video is about. It's no surprise, is it? I'm trying to be a little bit more professional with these videos, and so with the new year I've come up with some new introduction kind of snippets to my videos. I hope you like. As I say, I'm trying to be more professional. Is that possible? I don't know. Anyway, you will have ascertained from the start that this video is about wood turning. Now, over the past few weeks, maybe even a month or so, I've been collecting all of the equipment needed to do a bit of wood turning and produce a wood bowl. That's my objective. I'm going to produce, I think, several parts to this. This is part one and just an introduction, just to let you know what I'm setting up. Now, there's going to be loads of people out there, experts and people that have done this before, that will know loads more than me about wood turning, and I hope that they comment on my video and they leave something down in the comments as to well, any advice really as we go through this. My intentions are to take someone else's YouTube video which I followed, which demonstrates how to turn your first bowl, your first wood bowl. I'm going to go through those instructions and I will leave a link down in the bottom as to where this guy's video is. I'm kind of going to follow that almost to the letter, and we're going to produce hopefully a wooden bowl. Now, as I've said, I am a beginner. Well, I have a wooden bowl here, actually. You can probably see this. It's got some bays on the bottom, and you can see from this bowl that it's actually made up of different bits of wood. In fact, actually, when this was constructed, it was several blocks of different types of wood glued together and compressed in a set of vices to produce one big square of wood, and this was then put onto a lathe and turned into a bowl, a nice bowl. And can you guess who turned this? Yep, it was me, and I turned this bowl when I was 13 years old in woodwork at school. So I'm quite pleased with this. As you might imagine, it's been in use. It's had fruit in it for, well, quite a number of years, probably 50 years or more. And yeah, I'm pleased with this. I think I made two bowls whilst I was at school. This is the one that I'm most proud of. Now, so I have, you could say I have got some experience of wood turning. You could say that. But I was, as I say, I was 13 at the time. All we had for protection was a woodwork apron. There was no such thing as goggles or protective glasses. You just took it as it came, basically, and that was it. So yeah, so that's what I have produced in the past. So as I said, I've had to buy quite a bit of equipment, and we're going to go down to my shed in a minute and have a look at the lathe that I've got down there that's now permanently installed down there. But this is not kind of a cheap venture into a new hobby, and I didn't think it would be really. It's not just a case of buying a lathe and then starting to wood turn. There are some other things that you've got to buy as well. So one of the things, of course, wood chisels. And I've bought I would say a budget pack of chisels. They're not too bad actually. They're not the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive. So they kind of look like this. There you go, quite long. That's a gouge. These things are sharp, so they need a bit of respect. Hence why I've got the head and face protection for this. So I've got my chisels, and of course the other thing that you need if you've got chisels for cutting wood, you need to be able to sharpen these, and as you might gather, to sharpen a chisel that's curved as with this gouge, you need some specialist equipment, and so I've had to also buy a grinder, an electric grinder, and a specific wheel for grinding these chisels, along with a jig to make sure that I grind at the right angle. These chisels get blunt quite quickly as you're turning wood, as you might imagine, and there's no point in actually trying to work wood with a blunt chisel. It just isn't gonna work. Now, when I was at school, how that was all done was the teacher actually sharpened these chisels up, and he made sure they were sharp. Us boys weren't allowed anywhere near anything like that, so that's how it was done then. But I've got to learn how to do this, and I have been looking at YouTube videos to do that, so hopefully I will be able to sharpen my own chisels. So as I said, I'm going to make turn a bowl, and what I've got here and what you can buy are blanks. So this is a blank. This is my first blank to try to turn into a bowl. What is it? 6 by 2, 6 inches by 2 inches. It's already cut really into a, obviously it's round like a tree would be, but pieces of wood are sometimes square, aren't they? But this is already round, and it's kind of, well, it's come with like a waxy coating around it. I suspect that's to stop it, I don't know, stop any fragments coming off it. It's already got a dot in the middle of it. I'll have to kind of make sure that is the center. I can do that, I'm sure. And it's sycamore. And the reason it is sycamore, and I've ordered this specifically, is because I've been told that sycamore is the easiest, or one of the easiest woods to start out on, because it doesn't have any knots in it. So I guess that makes it easier, doesn't it? So that's what I've chosen. I will probably go on to other types of wood if this is a success. As I say, I'm going to follow this guy from YouTube, and I'm going to go exactly through the process of how he turns a blank similar to this into a bowl. And along the way, I think I've still got to go out and buy some extra bits and pieces, certainly oils and waxes to put on the wood, and possibly sandpaper as well. So without further ado, let's just pop down into the shed, and I will show you the lathe and explain a little bit about the lathe down there. Oh, before we go, one more thing. I have bought, but with what did come with the lathe was a faceplate, and the faceplate is screwed onto like thus. It's screwed onto the blank, and this part is then screwed into the lathe, and that's how the blank is turned. This, I bought one of these, even though there was a faceplate came with the lathe. I didn't think it was up to good quality. I didn't even think it was that round actually, so we'll have a look at that down there perhaps if it's lying around. But yes, I didn't think it was that great, so I've gone out and bought another one. This looks pretty well engineered correctly, so I'm hoping that's going to work. So let's now go down to the shed and have a look at the lathe. So here we are in the shed, and here is the lathe, and there's a few tools lying around. Now let me explain something about this wood lathe. It's a cheap version that you can buy, and I've been told that it's kind of used by various companies. Aldi do the same one and put their badge on this. It's called Lumberjack here, but it's kind of rebadged by various companies. It's about £150, something like that. It's cheapo. It's a basic model basically, and I thought, well, let's at least just get something basic to begin with and see how that goes. And if the hobby takes off and I really get into it, then I'll invest in something a bit better, maybe. But yeah, I think it's going to be okay. So that's the lathe. So as I already said as well, yeah, I've had to buy a grinder for sharpening these chisels up. And along with that, I've had to buy a special wheel, a special grinding wheel to make sure aluminium oxide. I understand that that's a good wheel. These ones that are already on the grinder might be a bit too fierce. So I think I've got the right wheel. Oh, and here's the faceplate that came with the lathe. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with this. It just kind of looked as if, well, that it wasn't going to suffice particularly. So I bought another one, as you've just seen. So, yes, I'm ready to produce something. And yeah, as I said, if you've got any comments or any advice apart from don't do it, yeah, please leave some comments. Okay, so that's the part one over and done with. The next one that you see from me on this subject, I will have the wood block on the lathe, and I'll be doing something down here. And we'll at least start to do some wood turning. So look out for that one, and subscribe and like this video please, and then we can kind of see what happens next. So that's it from me, and I'll see you on the next video, I'm sure quite soon. Okay, bye for now. Bye.